welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to talk about the brand new horror film that dropped on Christmas Day, and that film is Nosferatu. But before we get into it, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Yes, Nosferatu dropped on Christmas Day. It's rated R. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes long and had a budget of $50 million. Now, this was written and directed by Robert Eggers. This is my first Robert Eggers film. I have never seen any of his other films. I've owned The Witch for over a year. I've never watched it. I'm going to rectify that. So yes, I'm going into this with fresh eyes on Robert Eggers' film. So let's get into it. In this film, we have a hell of a cast. We got Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, playing Ellen. We got Nicholas Hoult playing her husband, Thomas. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays Thomas's friend Frederick. He is also a ship baron. Willem Dafoe plays the professor who specializes in the occult. He is our stand-in for Van Helsing. We will talk about why Nosferatu, even back in 1922, was made the way it was, because it's very much tied to Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's pretty much the same story. And Bill Skarsgård plays Count Orlok, our Dracula of this piece. Now, the plot of this film is the exact same of Bram Stoker's Dracula for the most part, okay? So, you know, if you know that story, you know pretty much the basic plot of this film. There are some things that get switched up, and the names are different, but this is pretty much Bram Stoker's Dracula, just told with different characters, different country. It's not London, it's Germany. And they never say Transylvania in this film, although, you know, Thomas goes off. He's sent by his boss, who is already in cahoots with Count Orlok, off to this country to get these papers signed. He wants to buy this this property in the city that they live in, and the movie pretty much unfolds like Bram Stoker's Dracula for the most part, okay? So besides the plot, what to like about this film? Well, there's a lot to like about this film. First of all, the production design is immaculate. The way it's shot is stunning. This is one of the most beautiful movies. It's probably the most beautiful movie of the whole year of 2024 by far. It's so well directed by Robert Eggers. The camera movements, the shots are so well designed. They're very deliberate. I was very impressed with the filmmaking on display. He also did film this on 35 millimeter. This was not shot on digital. I had a feeling it wasn't. I wasn't sure going in, but as I went to see this with my good buddy Dale _ from the Bat and Spider podcast, by the way, go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, check those guys out, tell them I sent you. I got on the movie and I checked right away online, and I'm like, nope, they shot on 35 millimeter. You could just tell from the texture, the way it looked gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. This is something that digital can't do. It looks amazing. So the money was $50 million. The money was all up there on screen, from the set design, the costume design, the way the movie shot, everything. I mean, I was so impressed with that alone. And then you have the acting. The acting is top tier. The acting is amazing across the board. There should definitely be some Oscars thrown this way to this movie, between production design, cinematography, the directing, the acting. It has it all. The score is great. The makeup on Count Orlok is top notch. I love the way Bill Skarsgård looked. His voice was amazing. He did vocal exercises to get his voice ready to do the voice. He must have been hoarse at the end of every day he had a film. I don't know how he was able to pull that off, because if you ever hear Bill Skarsgård talk, he doesn't sound nothing like Count Orlok. But that's the whole thing about being an actor and bringing a new character to life, and he certainly gave it his all here, so hats off to him. The story, well, this is Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay, there's no getting around it. The original 1922 silent film was a way for them to make Bram Stoker's Dracula without having to pay the copyright holders any royalties for that story. So that's why they birthed Nosferatu. They changed the names, the setting, some things around, but it's pretty much Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was the reason Nosferatu was made in 1922. So when you watch this film, especially if you've seen the other Dracula, especially Bram Stoker's Dracula, Coppola's version, which I love that film, there's a lot of comparisons here between the love story between Ellen and Count Orlok. It's the same as the love story between, you know, in Bram Stoker's Dracula, okay? There's tie, there's bind. Now, they do it a little different here, and it's very artistic. There's no doubt. Again, everything is top-notch here, but there's a lot of familiarity, especially if you're a fan. I've read Bram Stoker's Dracula. I like Coppola's film a lot. So there's a lot of crossover here. So as the film progresses, I'm getting in kind of my negatives, because I do have some negatives. This is not a perfect film in my opinion. while it's perfectly executed and it looks amazing and it's perfectly acted, I feel, I have issues. One of it, and it can't help but be it because that's what the 1922 version is. There's a lot of been there, done that. So in that respect, by the time we got to the end of the film, I'm just telling you my thoughts. I know people are loving this film, and there's a lot to love here. I know I'm being a little negative here, but I did love this film, and it'll reflect in my score. The movie goes on too long. And I don't mind slow burns, deliberate movies. I don't. I like, a lot of them would make my top 10 list of all time. But by the time we got around to the finale, the movie's been building, building, building. And I got to be honest, by the time the movie ended, I was like, they could have cut 20 minutes out of this thing and got this down under 2 hours. When I walked out of the theater, that was the first thing I said to Dale. I'm like, this movie didn't need to be 2 hours and 12 minutes long. They drug this out 20 minutes about too long. I was starting to feel it at the end. And again, I like long movies. I have no problem with a movie going long or taking its time. But this seemed like there should have been cuts made, and it was like, screw it, we're just going to leave everything in. Which, you know, I'm sure he had final cut, so if that's the route that he decided to do, more power to him. But for me, I started to feel the runtime, especially in the last, like, 20 minutes. I started to feel it. Like, I felt like this movie should have wrapped up already. Like, we should have had our finale, and the credits should have been rolling. That's just my opinion. That's how I felt walking out of the movie. I just felt it was about 20 minutes too long. And again, I don't mind long movies, deliberate movies, but I felt the runtime by the end of the film. Having said that, again, this is a remake of a 1922 silent film. We'll just get a little just quick trivia. They did shoot the exteriors at a real castle in Romania for Count Orlok's castle. They shot interiors at another castle as well. So they did shoot on real locations for some of this thing. And that's about it all I have for trivia. At the end of the day, this is an extremely well-made film. It's the most beautiful film of 2024, hands down. It's not even close. The set design, costume design, the acting is all top tier. Again, my problem is it's 20 minutes too long. I started feeling the runtime, and it's never a good thing for any movie if I start feeling the runtime. So at the end of the day, this is a really good movie. I would give Nosferatu 2024 a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for Nosferatu 2024. If you've seen this yet, leave a comment down below to let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. That's it for this one. I'll be back soon with my top 10 horror films of 2024. But until then, bye.